Hi there, it's Kevin with Gone Rogue Games / The Rogue Deck Builder here with February's top 5 products that I think are great buys for the month of February 2022. Now, keep in mind, this is more geared toward patrons. If you are a patron for the Rogue Deck Builder, I will sell you any of these products at cost, so meaning that the amount that I pay the distributors, you get them for being a patron. So you have the other part of this video will be the top 5 products from Magic the Gathering that I think are good buys right now. That is on my Rogue Market channel that should be coming out tomorrow or later on today. But this one is focused on non-Magic, usually accessories. Typically I choose some card sleeves, some accessories, maybe a non-Magic, the Gathering game, and then I always choose a board game because I'm a huge fan of the board games. You'll be able to see when we move studios here, you'll be able to see my entire board game room. We're gonna get a permanent studio set up. It'll be easier for me to shoot videos. So be looking for that. We should be upping our production quality here in the future. Alrighty, so again, if you're interested, head on over patreon.com/roguedeckbuilder. If you're not a patron, maybe we can work something out, but typically I only sell to patrons because it's less of a headache. I've been scammed too much with selling to the general public and all the other nonsense with it. So I like how it works. You scratch my back, I scratch your back, and we have a great thing going at Patreon. We have like 185 patrons. A lot of them have been with me for 2 to 3 years. In fact, the vast majority of them have been with me for over a year. So it's a pretty cool service. Have a Discord, have a great community. So highly encourage you to check it out. All right, now the shilling is over. Let's get to the products. So the first one I talk about is these awesome. We're gonna actually unbox these here. So this is I didn't come prepared here. This is the Water Dragon brush darts. Now brush darts don't have the greatest shuffle feel as mats. I think that mats are just the best shuffle feel for Dragon Shield, but the brushed arts are definitely the most beautiful sleeves on the market. So these ones just came out. This one's called the Water Tiger, and it came out first as a Japanese size sleeve, meaning it fit Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and it was so popular that they brought it over to just the standard size sleeves. So it's a little more expensive. I think it's $8 a pack. I think we're up to $7 a pack now for Dragon Shields. So I don't like what these manufacturers are doing. They're increasing the cost at distributors and local game stores, but not increasing the MSRP. So it just means worse margins for us as a store. But these are just high quality sleeves. Again, I think it's about $8. The MSRP for 12, and I can sell them to you for 8. Maybe they have up to MSRP. I'll have to check their website for it. But these are just gorgeous sleeves. I love the orange into red. And again, the only problem that I have with the brush sleeves or the matte sleeves, they have a little bit of a catchy shuffle feel. But if you aren't anal on how it feels to shuffle your cards, I think these ones are great. Let's just try a couple cards here. Here we go. Here's a Dragon Shield matte sleeve. I think this is Dragon Shield matte. Maybe it's not. I don't know what this one is actually. I'm unsleeving this card here. And these suckers just have a nice tight feel in them. They have the white back to it. Some people do prefer. That's another thing with like the matte shields and stuff is you'll get the color that's behind the card. So these ones are going to have the white border around it. And then they can't see through the card at all, which is great for the brush sleeves. And that is just beautiful art there. They double sleeve pretty well. I've reviewed Dragon Shield sleeves over and over in this on this channel before and other channels before. And they're just top of the line sleeves. You cannot beat Dragon Shields as far as quality is concerned. So when a new product for Dragon Shield comes out, I definitely like to showcase this one. And this one is just absolutely gorgeous. The artwork's great. You got the tiger and the white dragon here, and I highly love, recommend and love these as a kind of an art sleeve, a brushed art sleeve. Alrighty, so on to the next product. The next product that I am going to showcase is going to be a deck box from UltraPro. Now, I'm a huge fan of Vince Van Gogh, and this, I know Dragon Shield has done some Vince Van Gogh Dragon Shield sleeves for it. They had a little dragon in the thing, but this is just a Starry Night UltraPro Alco deck box. Alco is one of the better products that the UltraPro makes. Sometimes they have Alcos that are a little bit taller. This one is just the non-dice version, and again, it's just a very high quality deck box. It fits 60 cards, no problem. 100 card sleeve, no problem. Typically, if you have 100 cards plus tokens, it's a little bit of a tight fit. But again, it's just a wow factor of a deck box. UltraPro has really upped their games. Their alcove, the quality's a lot better. You don't see a lot of frayed stitching like we used to see, or a lot of like dinged up corners. This is just a beautiful deck box. It's got a nice magnet feel to it. Doesn't come out. A very tight magnet that clips on really well. And yeah, you can't beat the artwork of Vince Van Gogh, am I right? This is just a beautiful deck box. I can't remember the price. I'll have it on the sheets, or probably in the link in the description below. We'll have a link, or usually I don't like to have that public knowledge just for I don't want manufacturers to get all mad at me that I'm selling at manufacturing price to people, but yeah, so we'll have the link if you are a patron, or maybe I'll put the price in the comment section or in the description of how much I can get these at. But the UltraPro Alco, very good deck box. We reviewed other Alcos on. It's definitely my top sellers, Alcos from UltraPro. UltraPro typically is considered one of the weaker lines as far as quality is concerned, but UltraPro, as far as Alcos, they've really stepped up their game, and these are great deck boxes. So I was really happy to see this Starry Night come from UltraPro from Vincent Van Gogh. So, yep, beautiful deck box. All right, now we got the sleeves in the deck box out of the way. Let's talk about another accessory that I absolutely love. So this is the Ultimate Guard so it's the Archive 800 Plus. So these are going to be coming back in stock as the quality is just really good on this one. You can see it's kind of used. This one's used. I use this one for a commander league for quite some time. But I like this one better than the Smart Hive. The Smart Hive has like the dice tray in it. But if you just want storage, you can't go wrong with the Archive 400 Plus. Just a beautiful deck box. It doesn't do anything special. This lid doesn't come off or anything. The magnet holds really well, but it's just a great place to store decks. The deck boxes, these Alcos won't fit in here, but like boulders will fit in here nice. 1 second, I'm gonna go get a boulder to show you that it fits in. So if you don't know, if I haven't made it clear enough on this channel, boulders are by far my favorite way to store deck boxes, and my favorite way to store boulders in something is going to be the Archives, whether it be the 400 pluses, the 800 pluses. The long ones are always good too. I can't remember what they call the long ones now, but this is always a great option from the Ultimate Guard to go with the Archives. GameGenic makes some good ones too, but they're all really well as far as if you go with either Ultimate Guard or GameGenic. Both of those are solid companies. But again, very solid product. I'll have the price in the link in the description below. But another product that I highly recommend that you take a look at, and if you are in the market for something that does store, a few commander decks. I mean, you can hold quite a few commander decks in here. Probably like 8 commander decks in here, no problem. This is definitely a great quality product to pick up. Alrighty, so now we have the accessories out of the way. Let's get to the good stuff. So I always recommend a board game. This one just came back in stock. It's been out of stock for about 2 years. This is Valeria Card Kingdom. Now, this is a great game because it's good game to introduce people to board game. And I think that people that are into board games will also like it. So this is a rolling game. So each turn you're going to be rolling dice, and then you're going to be triggering the cards that you've purchased in your army. So this used to be one of the problems of Valeria Card Kingdom, is it was very inaccessible as far as the price point. This was a $60 game, and they've been able to cut the cost of this card down. I believe it's like a $38 game MSRP. I think it's $37.99. And so I think I can get it for like $18-19 is what I can get Valeria Card Kingdom for patrons. And again, use your rewards, your patron rewards on board games. I highly encourage you to start a board game group. It's my bowling night. I don't go bowling, or I don't go to the bar, or I don't, do typically what do people my age do? I don't even know what they do. We have what I do for enjoyment now, since I made like Magic my career, and I don't really get a lot of happiness, or I don't get to blow off steam with Magic anymore. It feels like a job now. I had to go to something else. So board game nights on Fridays are one of my favorite nights of the week, where I can just sit down with my buddies. A lot of I've met just through board games, and we crack open some board games and play every night, and it's just a really fun experience. And this one gets to the table quite often. I know a few people, it's their favorite game of Valeria Card Kingdom. Not my favorite game. I don't think it makes my top 10, but it is a very solid game. So your version of this you do order from me will look a little bit different. I also have a ton of expansions in here, but the biggest changes to the new version is they got rid of these wood pieces. So they're able to cut some costs on wood pieces, and they actually have a track that you can go down the track now instead of counting. So this is actually a bad mechanic of the game, because basically your cards are going to be giving you a lot of these resources, and you get so many of these dumb things that they had to make these that are like ×5s and ×10s. And still, it was just a mess. The entire board was a mess of all these resources everywhere, and they fall on the ground, you get lost of it. So now they just have a track where you just have one, like, You can just move one of these little things on your track, and it will say like 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10. And if you get above 10, then you can put a little marker that also signifies you have 10 of them. So I really, really love the change. The new box is very similar to this box here. It gives you plenty of space to actually store cards in. And so let me just show you some of the cards of how they do. So you start with 2 starters cards here, and look at it. I love how this too. It's all organized so you can find your starters. And so everyone starts off with a starter knight and a starter peasant. And what they do is the peasant, whenever a 5 is rolled on your turn, you get 1 gold. Or whenever a 5 is rolled on another person's turn, you get a gold as well. So you start out with these guys, and the knight does an attack and an attack. And so your board will have... let me see if I can showcase without making a mess here with how it looks. I'll go ahead and get the rule book here for show you exactly what a board looks like. So that's what the board is going to look like when you set up the game. That's one of the complaints of this game is it's a huge setup. And so you're going to randomly, so for every number, you're going to pull out one of these cards and you can mix and match them. They do have some that they like feel like work together, but if you just randomize it with, because like if you look at my box, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different 5s. So you're only use 1 5 for the game. But they're going to do different things. For example, on this one, it shows the mercenary is going to give you, it's going to cost 3 to buy, and then it's going to give you on your turn 1 attack and 1 gold. So basically, on your turn, what you can do is you roll the dice, you generate the resources, and then you can do 2 actions. And one action's maybe buying one of these cards in the middle, which is another person to your army, which then they stack. Like you have more knights, the more 6s you roll, or the 6s you roll will stack, because you have like 3 knights, you'll actually have 3 attack. And if you have other numbers, they work too. And what you can do is you can mix. So with the dice is you can split them. So if I rolled a 6 and a 2, all my 6s would triggers, all my 2s would trigger, and then 8s would trigger as well. So it's split the dice and add the sum of the dice together, and then you trigger everything you have out there. So for example, if I had this engineer out here, oop, that is a bandit. I'm in the wrong spot here. If I had this engineer and this knight, and I rolled this 6, and let's say also I had this dreadnought here, I would trigger all of these. So on my turn, I would, if I were to roll an 8, or if someone else was to roll 8, let's say on my opponent's turn, I'd end up getting 8 attack, or 6 attack, because this guy would get 4, this would either get a coin attack, and this would get an attack for the 8 being rolled. And so you're going to go throughout the game by generating resources, building up a bigger army, and eventually you're going to start either buying these domains that have symbols on them. So you'll start with a card, a duke. Let me show you a duke real quick. That is going to give you kind of what you're scoring. So everyone has their own, like, what they're going to score for. So this particular guy is going to score you 1 for every hammer symbol, 1 for every character, so every character in your army, 1 for every 4 resources. And so this guy's kind of plain Jane here. And so basically your strategy with this one would be buy a bunch of hammer guys in your army. That'd be the best way to score points with this Carson the Wolf. The other thing you can do, so that's what you're going to be going for. Some of the characters will want you to fight monsters, but monsters are another action you can take, and they have a cost of attack. So if you see up at the top here, that goblin costs 1 attack, and if you kill it, you get a victory. It's worth a victory point at the end of the game, and you get 1 gold immediately. It also has a symbol, and symbols do matter for some of the dukes. And for example, that skeleton right there, you do 2 attack. If you use 2 attack, you can kill it. You get 2 victory points. You get 1 gold for killing it. And the monsters have an entire like group to them. I'll show you one real quick here as well. So this is the treants here, and they get stronger as you go down them. And then so like these ones cost 3 attack, then 6, then eventually it'll be the Spider Queen that will require 3 magic and 10 attack, and then you'll get 5 victory points, and then you get to choose a reward here. So it's just kind of a strategic game of trying to build up your army, trying to decide where you want to spend your resources, and eventually build up your strategy to score the most points in the game. So there's a lot of dice are being rolled, and like I said, you get to do 2 actions on your turn, whether recruit a character or fight a monster. You can actually fight 2 monsters. You can buy these domains. Domains are kind of cool because they have either immediately triggered effects, or they have static effects. For like this one, for example, has during your action phase, when you buy a domain, you immediately gain a magic, and magic is kind of cool in this one because it's wild. It can be used either as a magic, a gold, or as an attack. And then also what's cool about domains is they also do have the symbols, which then do count towards your dukes at the end of the game. So really, really fun. I know I'm kind of going overboard here with the explanation, and maybe it's not making sense to people, but this is a fun... I mean, I'm trying to think of games that are like this, like Machi Koru or Space Base. This is my favorite one out of those type of rolling and then getting some sort of resources and then buy resources later on. There is a lot of RNG factor of the game. Of course, you roll really well, or if your opponents roll really well for what you've bought, you're going to have a lot of you're going to just be ahead. But there are some strategies with this game. There's a couple strategies, one being like really, really roll towards your odds, so buy a lot of like 2s, 3s, 4s, because those are the most common dice rolls. If you either have the split and the sum, you're going to roll more 2, 3s, 4, 5, 6, all the way. That's the most common way to be able to get the most out of a dice. So you can like really bank on those, or you can go for like a lot of times like going for the 11s and 12s. Give you these guys actually give you quite a bit if you do roll this one. So this one, for example, if you roll an 11 or 12, you get a whopping 5 gold, and you only cost 1 gold to buy. So you can be a little more risky to actually buy those guys, and then hopefully roll. People are going to start rolling some big numbers. So Valeria Card Kingdom, really, really fun game. Highly, highly recommend you to pick this one up. I think now that it's back in stock, I would consider this an essential game for any board game, collection. For one, that if you're starting to start a board game club or group, or want just a game that this would be for that particular genre. Like I said, the Machi Korus, the Space Bases. This is the Dice Forge. I think this is my favorite one out of them, would be Valeria Card Kingdom. And it's got a lot of expansions. Some of the later expansions really change the rules up. So if you ever get bored with the base game, you can always add to them. I mean, they have so many different expansions that add to this game to keep it, nice and fresh. So hits the table a lot. Everyone seems to enjoy it. I can highly, highly, highly recommend Valeria Card Kingdom. Alrighty, so that leaves us to the last one on my list, and this is going to be Flesh and Blood Everfest. So this just came out. This is the limited version. So I'm really advertising for the unlimited. So Unlimited will be coming out in a couple weeks after that. Usually they give it a couple weeks before. I think it's 3 weeks before Unlimited comes out. I might possibly be able to get some more first editions. Typically, like I got my first allocation. We're sold out of the first allocation. And now I have, with both Monarch and the last, what was the one, Tales of Aria, I have been able to get a few more. So if you do want some of these, just put your name in the bucket. And I don't know what we're going to... some of them might end up on Bucko's. Bucko's is an auction house we have on our Discord for things that aren't limited. So for, I have 185 patrons, and let's say I get 10 extra Commander Blacks, and not everyone's, I can't play favors at that point. They're just going to go up on an auction house and people can bid on them. That's the kind of the fairest way to do for non-limited products. So Flesh and Blood, I'm sure a couple of these from my private stock are going to end up on Bucko's, but for now, if I do get more unlimited or limited, this is going to be a great product. I think it's very similar to Crucible of War as far as this is an expansion set. Let's just crack a pack to see what I'm talking about, what you get. So there's cards in here for every class. If you haven't played Flesh and Blood, I highly, highly recommend it. It's a very, very fun game as far as a 1-versus-1 game. It's got its own little flavor and feel that's very similar to Magic, but different enough that I think if you are a fan of Magic, you will have fun with this. It is very tight as far as play is concerned. I think the RNG is actually not as bad as Magic. It's just a different feel, and if you can go look at a tutorial video on how to play it, I have fun playing it. I think it's a good break from Magic, and it has a lot of different characters at this point, and they continue to add more characters, and they'll have a lot of cards to choose from. So especially if you're one of those players that likes to tune decks, not really brew a new concept of a deck, you really like to fine tune, find the best 60 possible. Like you're one of those people, one of those spikes in Magic that just wants to find the absolute best amount of cards you can run it. Flesh and Blood would definitely be a game for you. This is all about efficiency and all about tuning the deck for a particular meta. So highly encourage it. This deck has been this game has been taken off the equivalents to Grand Prix. I can't remember what they call them now. Nationals and what do they call them? They have been doing very well. Like the Dallas one had over 1,000 players, and that's like Magic. That'd be super good for Magic, and this is a brand new game. So this is looking up for this game. It's got legs. It's not going anywhere in my opinion. Has a very, very high, a big fan base. Let's just kind of look at some of the cards here. So like I said, this is going to add cards to all of the existing classes that are out there. So this is a brute attack action. which says when you attack with bare fingers, draw a card, then discard a card. If a card with 6 or greater is discarded, it gains +2. That's a very typical thing for brutes. They like to discard cards with 6 or greater. We have the bad beats, which is the brute action, which allows you to roll and go again. So here's a warrior attack reaction, or reactions are like instances. They react to blocks. Your one-handed weapon attacking, go again, your next weapon. Ooh, that's a good card, actually. That's a super good card. I'm just looking at this card. I'm like, geez, that is super good for Dorinthia. And no one that doesn't play the game doesn't know what I'm talking about. We have Pry. It's a wizard action. It's got target player hero reveals a card from their hand. If Pry is played during an opponent's turn, instead they reveal all their cards. You may choose a card to reveal this way and put it on the bottom, and then they draw a card. So that's actually a pretty sweet card too. I like this card. I'm not going to look at most of them here, but we'll just kind of go through here and see what we get with the Potion of Luck. Destroy Potion of Luck, shuffle your hand and arsenal your deck, then draw that mini card. So these ones are kind of cool because items stay out. That's kind of cool. That's a neat little card to try to set up a really good turn. And again, you have to know the tempo of Flesh and Blood. There's huge tempo swings, momentum shifts in this game. So you can feel like you're really far behind, and then you can just come back out of nowhere. And vice versa, you can feel like you're so far ahead, and then you can run out of steam. And this is like another card that helps set that up. So highly, highly encourage you look into it. And we have a T-Bone, which is a mechanologist action. So you're getting T-boned. Alrighty. So I'm going to be opening up a whole booster box of Flesh and Blood on this channel. It'll release tomorrow. So if you're interested in looking through the Flesh and Blood limited version of Everfest, hopefully we can actually crack a cold foil. We're going to be opening this sucker up. So be looking forward to that. So again, those are my top 5 products that I think are great buys for the month of February. We got the Starry Night deck box, the Dragon Shield sleeves. We got the Hive Archive 800, the Valeria Card Kingdom, and the Everfest, as the Unlimited will be released shortly. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you ever want me to review a particular product, then definitely let me know in the comment section below. I know we've been very, very lackluster on producing videos for this channel. We are in the midst of a move. Not a move as far as where our location is, and we end up having to rent out the entire building, so our rent just skyrocketed up. But that does mean we have access to more rooms, so we're actually going to have a dedicated studio that will have everything set up. And hopefully that will motivate me more that, hey, I got 15 minutes, let's hurry and do a video and upload one and whatnot. I know I say that like a broken record. I'm going to start producing more videos. But it is something I want to get back to doing and really get motivated to do. So I still love Magic. I still love Flesh and Blood. Sometimes I just get completely worn down. It's just, I can't recommend this enough to people. If you have a hobby and you're like, I can make a career out of this, maybe think twice of doing so, because let me tell you, it turns into kind of like a drain of when your hobby becomes your job, then what do you do to escape from your job? And that's kind of what it feels like. And then oftentimes I'll be so ground down from working here that it's like, I don't want to do a video. I'm just so... Yeah. So anyway, that's a whole story for another day we can talk about. Maybe I've always even milled over that, like just starting doing that on this channel, is talking about everyday life or just the kind of behind the scenes of the business. And again, that's something in the future. I hope I can get some time. Patreon takes a lot of hours. It's good 4 or 5 hours a day of really going through orders, shipping things and stuff, and you got a lot of other stuff that takes a lot of my time. But no excuse not to do videos. Thanks for everyone for being viewers. If you like this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button, that like button, all that algorithm goodness, and let's see if we can get this channel to 1,000 subscribers. Thanks for watching.